Hello everybody and welcome to Robot Wars Top 10s. After covering the top 10 episodes of Series 3 last time, here we will be taking a look at the top 10 of Series 4. We will be looking and considering the 16 UK Championship heats, as well as the semi-finals, grand final, and because there's so many of them, the special episodes are in here as well. By the end of it all, we will come out with an order of 10 through to 1. Fight quality, episode narrative, and general surrounding circumstances will all be a factor. So, without any further ado, let's get into this particular top 10. And do let us know your own order down in the comments below. Number 10, The War of Independence. Opening up the Series 4 Top 10 is a bit of a wild card maybe, with the War of Independence special. This episode proved to be the occasion where perennial underachievers Mortis finally proved their mettle, overcoming high-tier UK and US bots Panic Attack and Frenzy en route to overall victory. These two fights were the pinnacle of battle quality for the episode, and they were both terrific watches, with Mortis' axe satisfyingly and effectively raining down to claim 2 victories. Aside from this, fight quality was undoubtedly mixed, with an entertaining beatdown in Frenzy vs Detonator also being equalled out in Frenzy's next fight in round 2 with a one and done against Ming-Tu. However, the best fights in this episode are truly worth watching, and the narrative weight of Mortis' final bow being a potential filling campaign was something to treasure, and so this episode takes 10th on this list.
Can they flip them up and over using the long arm? They're over! Now can Frenzy run itself using the weapon? The soft underbelly of Frenzy is exposed! In goes the Mortis axe! It's the Woody Woodpecker song from Mortis!
Number 9, Heat N. Heat N of Series 4 involved Exterminator 2 and Behemoth as its leading lights. Two aggressive machines with the ability to keep fighting away in long, gritty battles. So, it's no surprise that when these two met in the Heat final, that we were treated to a fight where both machines exchanged dominant periods over the other, and it all concluded with a judge's decision. That's not to say the Heat final was the only thing worth watching here, because the round 1 melee involving Behemoth, Rambot, and an Arnold Terminegger was one of the very finest round 1 fights ever seen on the show, as all 3 competitors displayed terrific aggression, control, patience and persistency. Aside from this, the fight quality admittedly dips, with fast-paced being the exact opposite phrase you could use for the other round 1 melee, while one of Behemoth's typical rollover and done jobs on Judge Dredd 2 in round 2 hardly inspired much either. Exterminator's comfortable but watchable dominance over Arnold Terminegger helped give us more of a middle ground fight though, and that, coupled with 2 of Series 4's finest fights overall, helped seals Heat N's place at number 9 in this list.
Behemoth attacking! Arnold Terminegger! Rambot in underneath Arnold! Behemoth trying to lift! Rambot, this is great stuff!
Number 8, Heat F. Robot Wars legend Tornado had its debut take place in Heat F of Series 4. Not that anybody's focus was on it though, because that attention was instead on the clusterbot Gemini, and the 114 slow-mo replays of it splitting apart at the very start. Throughout the heat, Gemini was the machine with expectation and hype, and when it provided us with a visual delight of an out-of-the-arena flip on the creature in round 2, you could certainly understand why. However, the basic yet explosive Tornado also proved itself quickly as well, helping clean up the arena, and itself, in round 1, before the two met, in an episode with yet another fantastic heat final. Here, Tornado used its own rams, as well as the arena's own ramming spike, to help put paid to one of the Gemini twins, but the fight wasn't without concern to Tornado itself, with flips taken and a late breakdown helping provide extra drama. The first and to a degree second fight including Berserk 2 are ones to be left aside for sure, but Tornado and Gemini by themselves gave us thrills and spills throughout, and an entertaining ride it certainly was.
Technical consultant Derek Foxwell and his team very strict on weights in this series of Robot Wars. But at the moment, Tornado is the heavyweight of this class.
Number 7. Tag Team Terror. The first ever Tag Team Terror event took place in Series 4, and it can comfortably be argued that it was also the best tag team tournament overall. A good amount of the competitors for this competition were very durable machines, but not ones with truly destructive weaponry. But that's not a bad thing, because all of Bigger Brother, Exterminator 2, King Bee 3, 101 and Firestorm 2 helped provide us with some fantastic drawn out scraps. It's safe to say that the recurring incompetency from the likes of Plunderbird 4, Scorpion and Invertebrat wasn't ideal, and those machines in themselves were ultimately enough to disrupt their superior partners and to allow the balanced pairing of 101 and King Bee to win overall. However, virtually all of these fights were competitive scraps. Virtually all of them included Jonathan Pierce going absolutely mental, even for Jonathan Pierce's lofty standards. And we also got the two eventual winners turning on each other in an entertaining victory parade against each other right at the end. A fantastic and fun special episode this was.
Yes, this is what we want! Scorpion may have gone blind and they've shown a blind eye to rules and regulations! It's gone mad in Robot Wars Tag Team Terror! They're all in there now, trying to destroy!
Number 6. Heat B. At 6th place we have Heat B, which was a, pardon the pun, plucking good episode to say the least, as Razor and Pussycat provided us with entertaining and eggs-rated examples of how to roast a chicken. The two-seeded machines also showed off entertainingly unique and high-quality KOs on Millian, Bug and Repteron before they eventually met in the episode climax. Here, it was Pussycat which clipped the wings of Razor in a battle which, although short and anticlimactic in the arena, certainly managed to provide us with content outside of it, with Ian Lewis's infamous "Some of us are gentlemen" speech in the aftermath. The two-seeded machines were in fantastic form in this episode, and even the losers were of notable worth. And that all combined to create a very strong second heat to the series.
And it's just a grim battle of survival for Millie Ambug.
Number 5. Northern Annihilator. The first ever Annihilator was aired in December 2000, and the first ever round of an Annihilator almost felt like there were 2,000 machines in the arena at once. Here we saw an unprecedented level of damage, durability and action, and it meant that we witnessed one of the very best individual fights ever seen on the show, as Chaos 2 was eventually felled after a 5-minute slog. Despite some lower standards of fights in the following rounds, the likes of Dominator 2, Kilohertz and Spikosaurus made sure that there was always a competitive edge to proceedings. The eventual final that involved Dominator 2 and Spikosaurus proved that a lot of energy was used up in the fights beforehand though, as a dramatic breakdown from the overwhelming favourite Dominator 2 saw Spikosaurus take home victory overall, and helped top off an unexpected ending and an entertaining and quality episode.
Killers 2! Flicked over by Dominator 2, axe to axe, metal to metal, bash and crash, smash! What is happening out there? The hopes and dreams about to be scuttled have won in the Annihilator. It's Kilohertz up on its side and bounce and bounce.
Number 4. The Grand Final. In at number 4 is the climax of the UK Championships for Series 4. This Grand Final may have once again been condensed into just 3 battles, but inside those 3 fights were upsets, suspense and controversy. Pussycat's once-in-a-lifetime snipe of the series' favourite Hypnodisc was an incredible episode opener, and the unthinkable very nearly continued into the next fight as well, as Stinger's damaging attacks and irritant nature was only just short of taking out Chaos 2 as well. The title fight itself was less of drama and surprise, as Chaos 2's title-winning pedigree wore Pussycat down over the course of the time limit, but it was still a fight of high quality, and with each and every battle being strong entries, it's no surprise that this episode finishes high up on this 10.
This is a real shock in the making. I can't quite believe it. No one really gave Pussycat a prayer against Hypnodisc, and they are stuck. That wheel is not moving, and look at that. That's damage to the enormously powerful blade of Hypnodisc.
Number 3, Semi-Final B. In at third place, we have the second semi-final of the Fourth Wars. Overwhelming favourites for progression here were Hypnodisc and Panic Attack, and the Welsh Machine's classy spawn of Scutter KO, as well as Hypnodisc's all-time classic evisceration of Splinter in round 1, showed exactly why. In other areas, Wild Thing was also at its aggressive and heavy-duty best, eventually overwhelming Exterminator 2 before pushing Hypnodisc all the way in a terrific encounter between the two. In the end, one of the less favoured machines did progress, with Stinger edging out Panic Attack in a tense but enticing clash, and the mixture of devastation, intense action and tactical sparring made this episode a varied, captivating watch.
On a frontal collision with that disc, they'll protect their more vulnerable sides, of course, Splinter. And maybe, who knows? Oh, no, they won't! There goes the scoop of the front. They didn't quite turn the right way. They turned right into the spinning disc. Things did not go according to plan.
Number 2, Southern Annihilator. As if the Northern Annihilator wasn't already a good episode, we were treated to an even better one straight afterwards, with the Southern version of the tournament including 2 absolutely brutal battles in the opening 2 rounds. The favourites Razor were bundled and smothered around the arena in the second of the 2 fights, and the next bout between it, Attila the Drum and Onslaught was an unnerving one for Razor too, as damage sustained and a hard to grab Onslaught meant that Ian Lewis and Simon Scott's machine only just edged their way through after Attila the Drum was plucked by Sakilolot. The final itself wasn't too much of a worry for Razor in terms of the fight, but that didn't stop us having one of the Robot Wars all-time classic moments when the part bird, part reptile sunk its beak into Matilda's shell. Behemoth being forced to pull out was a shame, and yet another round of this Annihilator could have easily secured its place at the very top of this list. But when number 1's episode is near on perfection, those small margins are often the difference. Nevertheless, the Southern Annihilator really is a fantastic watch.
Against the arena wall, and Matilda pressurised and punctured by Razor. Oh dear! Look at that! Matilda taking one on the shell. The rear of Matilda has never been quite seen like this before, and I have to say, thank goodness Matilda is on fire. Razor is destroying Matilda.
Number 1, Semi-Final A. And perfection is created in the form of Semi-Final A. An episode with high standards and close combat in every single one of its 6 fights, featuring legendary machines, a variety of weapons, and super tight judges' decisions. This episode really was the pinnacle of Series 4, and near on perfection for Robot Wars as a whole. An incredible watch, and a worthy tabletopper here. And I'll let this one close out with many a clip.
Again they try the tyres. It's an awfully tiring semi-final battle so far, and the shell very nearly lifted off Dominator 2. But you can count and bet that Roger Plant will be driving his machine right on until the end, but they've sustained damage in that CPZ. Look at that! The wheel is buckled and bent, and now it's Tornado's turn to drive on. The red bot comes in. Dominator 2 are there, immobilised. Fires on 2, grinds, great. Cease. And Dominator 2 may have just got away at the end to take it to a judge's decision. This is Chaos 2 trying to flip Tornado out of the arena and succeeding. That's what he lives for, George Francis! And again he's pulled it off!
So, there we have it. What did you think were the best episodes of Series 4? Was there an episode you particularly liked, or even simply had a fondness for? Let us know down below. Until next time, goodbye and stay safe.